Hello everyone, I'm Drama. Welcome back. Today, I want to tell you a story. This story is quite long and is about relationship. I will try to speak slowly. Whether you want to learn English or just want to listen for fun, you can relax and hear this story. Let's get started. The story takes place in London. It was my first year studying abroad, filled with excitement but also a bit of nervousness. As a boy from India, I came here to pursue a master's degree. One sunny afternoon, I attended a welcome event for international students. It was a lively occasion where students from all over gathered to meet and share their stories. At this event, I met Mayra, a girl from France. She had bright eyes like stars in the night sky and a warm smile that felt like sunshine on my heart. When we met in the crowded room, everything around us faded, and it was just the two of us. As we started talking, Mayra's voice was soft and full of passion. She told me about her love for painting, often getting lost in the world of colors. Her passion for art fascinated me, and each painting she mentioned felt alive. I shared my obsession with music, talking about my experiences playing the guitar and the moments flowing through the notes. We connected more and more, as if we found kindred spirits in each other. At that moment, I felt a special connection, like a twist of fate. Our shared love for art and culture made us no longer strangers, but like two rivers merging together. Mayra's laughter quickened my heart, and I knew this would be a special beginning. As time went on, our friendship gradually evolved into a sweet romance. We participated in various activities together, strolling through the streets of London, exploring historical corners and modern art exhibitions. Every time we shared food, I loved seeing Mayra try the French dishes I suggested, and she eagerly introduced me to her favorite foods from home. This fun exchange brought us closer. We often sat on a park bench, sharing our dreams and futures. Mayra liked to capture our moments with her sketches, while I played guitar for her, trying to express my feelings through music. Every time her eyes sparkled from my music, my heart was filled with happiness. Gradually, our lives intertwined. I celebrated every small achievement with her, while she supported me during my lows. We stayed up late studying, sharing our ideals, and comforting each other. In those moments, I knew I had fallen deeply for her. Mayra was not just my lover, she was my soulmate. In the days that followed, our studies were filled with busyness and challenges. As graduate students, our courses were quite demanding, with every topic discussed in depth. Mayra and I often pulled all-nighters in the library, drowning in the sea of books. She could always find the artistic essence behind complex concepts, while I tried to weave musical inspiration into my research. During our late-night study sessions, we supported each other, becoming each other's motivation. When I felt frustrated over a project, Mayra would cheer me up with her humor, as if she could instantly chase away my gloom. And when she faced setbacks at an art exhibition, I would be there to listen to her thoughts and offer support and encouragement. We discussed academic issues and exchanged ideas, and this intellectual collision deepened our relationship. Sometimes, we found a window seat in a cafe to enjoy rich coffee, sharing our progress on assignments. I admired Mayra's attention to detail, while my musical creativity sparked her inspiration. We transformed academic pressure into creativity, occasionally cramming together late at night before deadlines, laughing and saying, "As long as we're together, there's nothing we can't overcome." After classes, we would stroll through the nearby park, savoring the moment's tranquility. In those days in London, the city's hustle and bustle contrasted sharply with our academic life. Mayra would often take out her sketchbook from her bag, drawing the scenery we passed, while I strummed melodies, trying to add a musical backdrop to her artwork. In those ordinary days, I felt a sense of fulfillment I had never experienced before. Mayra's presence made me feel warm in this foreign land. Even amidst the pressure of our studies, our love continued to blossom. On a sunny weekend, we decided to visit a museum in London. It was filled with art and history, with each exhibit sparking our imagination. Mayra stood in front of a colorful painting, her eyes shining as if it told her inner story. Looking at her, a warmth surged in my heart. After the visit, we strolled through the museum's garden, enjoying the warm sun and fresh air. This moment felt wonderful, but I held a small secret in my heart. I wanted to invite Mayra to dinner and become a real couple. I had been thinking that maybe this was the time to take our relationship to the next level. I took a deep breath, gathered my courage, and turned to Mayra. "Mayra, what do you think about having dinner together tonight? Just the two of us, to chat properly." My voice was a bit nervous, but my eyes were filled with anticipation. Mayra looked up at me, her face breaking into a radiant smile. "Of course. I've been wanting to celebrate our recent achievements with you." In that moment, joy rushed through me, and it felt like a weight had lifted off my heart. I had already chosen the dinner location, a highly rated little restaurant that served food from different countries. When we arrived, Mayra's enthusiasm for the menu made me happy. She excitedly discussed each dish, and I quietly enjoyed watching her, feeling grateful for the decision I made. During dinner, we ordered several signature dishes. Mayra tried the Indian food I recommended, and I eagerly tasted her French cuisine. We shared our thoughts on the food, laughing and discussing the flavors. This relaxed and joyful atmosphere made us feel even closer. Halfway through the meal, I decided to seize the opportunity and express my feelings. So I put down my cutlery, looked seriously at Mayra, and said, "You know, I really enjoy the time we spend together. Whether studying or chatting, I feel there's a special connection between us. I want to know if I can be your boyfriend." Mayra paused for a moment, then smiled brightly. "Me too. I've been looking forward to this day." Her response made me feel incredibly relieved. as if flowers were blooming in my heart. At that moment, we both understood that this dinner was not just a simple date, but a new beginning for our relationship. Our laughter echoed in the restaurant, as if announcing the start of our love. In that cozy little restaurant, our future seemed to quietly unfold. As time went on, Alex and Mayra's relationship grew deeper. Our romance bloomed like a vibrant flower in every corner of London. Every weekend, we explored the city, hand in hand along the Thames, basking in the golden glow of the setting sun. Mayra's laughter rang in my ears like morning bird song, bringing me joy. We attended concerts together, and Mayra would excitedly discuss the band's style or her unique insights on a song. Her bright eyes sparkled with the music, making the world seem even more beautiful. Every time I played guitar, she would lean on my shoulder and sing softly, the notes dancing in the air, weaving our melody. On those peaceful nights, we often sat on a park bench sharing our dreams. Mayra would talk about her wish to become an artist, while I described my future in music. Our exchanges were not just conversations, but a convergence of souls. Sometimes, we did crazy things, like having an impromptu dance party on London Bridge. Despite the curious glances from passers-by, we laughed uncontrollably, fully enjoying this carefree joy. Mayra would suddenly turn around and give me a spinning hug, and I would twirl with her, as if the whole world spun around us. In every corner of London, our kisses were always filled with sparks, like fireworks igniting in an instant, brilliant and stunning. That feeling was like the merging of our souls, warm and sweet. Whenever we embraced on a park bench, with the gentle breeze brushing against us, I could feel her soft lips, as if time stood still in that moment, and the surrounding noise faded away. The long study time we spent together always made me feel incredibly relaxed and at ease with Mayra. In the quiet atmosphere of the library, she would turn her head to look at me, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she gently held my hand, seemingly conveying silent encouragement. During our joyful leisure moments, we explored the streets of London together. Her laughter was like the warm sun of spring, dispelling the shadows in my heart. Every intimate touch was a mutual expression, needing no words. The rhythm of our heartbeats was the most beautiful melody. That happiness blossomed quietly like the flowers of early spring, allowing us to find a sense of belonging in this foreign land. I knew that by Mayra's side, I had found true joy and a sense of belonging. We greeted every sunrise together, looked forward to every sunset, our hearts intertwined tightly. That was the time of our passionate romance. As our feelings deepened, Mayra and I began to face some potential challenges, mainly the pressure brought on by cultural differences. Although our relationship was filled with laughter and joy, these differences gradually surfaced, especially regarding family expectations and values. Mayra came from a traditional French family, and her parents had a clear plan for her future, hoping she would find a partner who met their expectations and lead a stable life. As an Indian guy, My family's expectations were more focused on personal freedom and self-expression. I often described my life in pairs to Mira, how I enjoyed the freedom of art and music, while her stories were filled with a sense of family responsibility and respect for cultural traditions. As graduation approached, we began to discuss our futures. Mira had her own ideas about returning to France to work, hoping to achieve something in the field of art. But she was also worried about not being able to meet her family's expectations. I tried to support her, but every time we brought up family issues, a flicker of hesitation would cross her face. She told me that the weight of her culture suffocated her, and this dilemma broke my heart. I felt an invisible pressure too. While I wanted Mira to pursue her dreams, I was afraid that the influence of her family would lead her to compromise and give up our relationship. Sometimes we would argue about this topic, and Mira would say, "Drama, you don't understand how important my family is." I would respond, "I do understand, but your happiness is equally important." This challenge of cultural differences cast a shadow over our relationship. Whenever I saw Mira lost in thought, I could feel her internal struggle. We both wished to find a balance, but it was not easy. Our love was strong, but facing external pressures and internal conflicts made our emotional journey more complicated. Nevertheless, we did not give up. After each argument, we would sit down and honestly share our feelings. Mira would express her worries about the future, and I would encourage her to find her voice. We understood that only by confronting these challenges could we make our relationship more resilient. Although the road ahead was filled with uncertainty, I believed that, as long as we supported each other and stood side by side, we could find a solution. As graduation approached, with academic pressures mounting, Mira and I began to seriously consider our futures. The atmosphere on campus was filled with the sense of farewells. Everyone was busy applying for jobs and preparing for interviews, filled with expectations and anxieties about the future. For us, this time of reflection was especially significant, as it concerned not just career choices, but the direction of our relationship. Mira had a clear plan for her future. She hoped to return to France and participate in cultural and artistic projects, promoting local arts education. Her passion made me immensely proud, but every time she mentioned her plans to return home, a sense of unease washed over me. We both knew that pursuing dreams was important, but I feared she would leave and leave me to face the emptiness of London alone. Meanwhile, I was considering staying in London to chase opportunities in the music industry. This place was rich in cultural resources and various artistic activities, and I was reluctant to give it up. However, I also knew that if I chose to stay, we might face the problem of distance. We were both caught up in our struggles, but the invisible pressure weighed heavily upon us. "Drama, have you thought about our future?" Mira asked one night during a deep conversation, her eyes revealing a yearning and anxiety for the future. I knew this was a difficult question to answer, So I candidly said, I hope we can find a solution together, but I also understand that you want to pursue your dreams. Such conversations made our thoughts clearer, but also left us feeling bewildered. We did not want to be shackles to each other's dreams, yet we feared losing this precious relationship. In this struggle, we began to contemplate a possible future. Could we find a balance, pursuing our ideals while maintaining our relationship? As graduation approached, time seemed to be speeding up. Every time I saw Mira deep in thought about the future, my heart tightened. We both knew the uncertainty of the future weighed heavily upon us, but we had to face reality. Each person's choice could affect the other, and we could only strive to find a path forward together. As graduation drew near, Mira and I had more frequent discussions, but every time the future was brought up, the atmosphere would tense. We both wanted each other's support, yet could not find a satisfactory solution. This invisible pressure gradually built up, ultimately leading to arguments between us. Can you understand me? Mira questioned angrily, her tone mixed with helplessness and frustration. I'm going back to France to pursue my dreams, while you keep wanting me to stay here. I'm not asking you to give up your dreams, I just want you to think about our future. I felt a wave of anxiety surge within me, my voice rising. Can we find a compromise? Compromise? You don't understand my values at all. A hint of sadness flashed in Mira's eyes, as if pouring out all her emotions at once. My family, my culture, they're part of my life. I can't abandon them for anyone. I knew every word she spoke came from her heart, but I couldn't suppress my own grievances. I've never asked you to give up. I just want you to understand that staying in London is equally important to me. Our arguments continued for several days, the Cold War atmosphere enveloping our small apartment. Whenever I saw Mira staring out the window, a wave of guilt and unease washed over me. We both understood that this fight was not just about future choices, but also about the collision of cultural differences and family expectations. The connection between us seemed to fracture at that moment. I don't know how to face you. Mira finally broke the silence during a quiet dinner, her eyes showing a sense of helplessness. Our relationship has become complicated, and I'm afraid of losing you. So am I. I responded softly, filled with contradictions. But I don't know how to fix all this. We both wanted to salvage our feelings for each other, but we had lost our direction in the arguments. Our expectations and dreams intertwined, forming an apparent gulf that seemed insurmountable. Every night, when it was quiet, I would think of the happiness we shared, but the current situation filled me with pain. On graduation day, sunlight poured over every corner of the campus, and the whole world seemed to celebrate our achievements. However, amidst the laughter and cheer, I felt an indescribable heaviness. Dressed in graduation gowns, Mira stood on stage receiving her diploma, her face beaming with a radiant smile, as if everything were perfect. Yet when our eyes met, I could see the complex emotions swirling within her. In that moment, I realized that we were not just celebrating academic completion, but also mourning the impending farewell. "How do you feel?" she asked, her voice soft amidst the bustling celebration. As we walked out of the venue, surrounded by joyful classmates taking photos, my heart felt tight. "I feel like everything is happening too fast," I sighed, trying to mask my inner turmoil. "It seems like just yesterday we met, and now we're about to part ways." Mira nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. "Yeah, all the beautiful moments flash in my mind. Our story is so beautiful, but the future is filled with uncertainty. I'm really grateful to have you by my side." I grasped her hand tightly, filled with memories. "We've gone through so much together, sharing joys and sorrows, supporting each other, making me a better person." She smiled faintly, but it carried a hint of sadness. "Me too. No matter what the future holds, I will never forget the time we spent together. Those art exhibitions, concerts, and our late-night chats in the park will always be the most precious memories in my heart." In a corner of the campus, we paused, the laughter around us gradually fading away. Time seemed to stand still as our eyes met, filled with unspoken words. "You'll return to India to pursue your dreams, while I might stay here," I said softly, filled with reluctance. "But I hope that no matter where we are, we can achieve our own ideals." Melara looked at me with determination in her eyes. "Yes, even if our paths may diverge, our memories will always connect us. I hope you find your music and create your own melody." "And you," I replied with a smile, filled with blessings. "Wherever you are, I'll cheer for you. Looking forward to seeing you paint a more beautiful world." As the graduation ceremony's bells rang, we embraced and cried, both excited for the future and nostalgic for the past. The tears shed at goodbye were a thank you for the beautiful times we shared and a blessing for the unknown journey ahead. In that moment, I knew that regardless of how our lives changed, that special bond would forever remain in our hearts. In the airport's departure lounge, the surrounding noise felt out of sync with our emotions. Melara and I stood quietly together, our luggage at our feet, while travelers around us chatted excitedly. We felt frozen in time, weighed down by the heaviness of farewell. "Are you really leaving?" My throat tightened as I struggled to keep calm. Melara nodded slightly, tears glistening in her eyes. "Yes, Alex. I can't delay any longer. My family needs me, and I need to return to face my future." "I understand, but it's so hard." I took a deep breath, trying to control my emotions. "We've been through so much. How can we just part ways?" She took my hand, her warm touch offering a bit of comfort. "We'll stay in touch, right? No matter what the future holds, we must strive to keep our lives intertwined. Of course, I'll message you, email, video calls, everything. You're my best friend." I forced a smile, though anxiety turned inside me, and Melara's voice became firmer. No matter where we are, our memories will always accompany us. The time we spent together is my most precious treasure. I nodded, filled with gratitude and nostalgia. Yet, we both understood that reality often throws unexpected challenges. Promises made in moments like this felt somewhat fragile, as life rarely follows a smooth path. If we truly have to go different ways, I hope ye shine in music. She smiled faintly, though sadness lingered in her expression. And you will dazzle in the world of painting, I responded, a pang of sorrow stirring within me. Remember to take care of yourself. Her voice was gentle but resolute. You too, Melara. No matter what happens in the future, I will always support you. I nodded slightly, silently vowing. As the announcement rang for her boarding, we embraced tightly, tears flowing freely, both feeling the helplessness and pain of parting. In that moment, time seemed to slow, and everything around us blurred. Goodbye, she whispered, tears in her eyes. Goodbye, Melara. Be happy. I grasped her hand tightly until her figure slowly disappeared from view. As she walked toward the boarding gate, my heart felt like it was being torn apart. The promises we made seemed incredibly fragile, but I knew that those beautiful memories would forever remain in my heart, giving me strength to face the challenges ahead. After the farewell, life seemed to quickly return to normal. I threw myself into work, trying to immerse myself in new challenges. As a young professional just starting my career, the pressure and responsibilities in my job kept piling up, demanding my full attention. Yet amidst the busyness, Melara's shadow lingered in my heart, refusing to fade. During lunch breaks, I often found myself on the office balcony, gazing through the glass at the streets of London, memories of enjoying meals together flooding my mind. Whenever I passed an Indian restaurant, I would think of her enthusiastically recommending curry and the laughter we shared. Such recollections often stirred a faint sense of loneliness within me. Even with every achievement at work, I felt a void inside, as if I was missing someone to share those moments with. Despite being surrounded by colleagues, I always sensed the absence of that special person. On weekends, I would occasionally browse through the photos we took together. Sun-soaked afternoons, warm winter nights, those moments of Melara holding my hand as we strolled the streets of London remained vivid. Each photo had beautiful memories, deepening my longing for those times. Though life continued, my thoughts were always with Melara. I silently yearned for the day we could reunite and see what we had achieved in our separate lives. Even though I didn't dare to message her, afraid to intrude, my longing surged like a tide, constantly reminding me that she held a significant place in my heart. One day, while scrolling through social media, I stumbled upon a post from Melara. She shared a new painting, vibrant and filled with her passion for life and pursuit of art. In that moment, warmth spread through me, and I instinctively clicked on her profile to see her latest updates and achievements, feeling both grateful and a bit melancholic. After a few days of hesitation, I gathered the courage to send her a message. A simple greeting, asking about her recent life. To my surprise, she replied quickly, her tone as warm as ever, as if time hadn't changed our connection. We began sharing snippets of our lives, discussing work anecdotes, gatherings with friends, and hopes for the future. Each conversation filled me with joy, as if we were back in those carefree moments. Melara told me about her small successes at an art exhibition, while I shared new challenges at work. Our exchanges became more frequent, as if distance and separation never existed. We reminisced about the times we shared, laughter bringing forth memories like a flood. I told her how much I missed our discussions on art and culture, while she mentioned how she often thought of me playing the guitar. That familiar connection returned, filling me with happiness. Every online conversation felt like a warm reunion. Even though we were miles apart, I could almost feel each other's heartbeats. In this unexpected reconnection, I realized that while life had brought many changes, our bond remained vibrant. As time passed, our chats continued to overflow with warmth and joy, yet a question lingered in my mind. What would the future hold? Would we reunite at some point, reigniting that intense connection, or would we each journey on different paths, drifting further apart? Every time I saw Melara's smile on my screen, a wave of longing washed over me, wishing I could once again hold her hand and stroll through the streets of London, sharing our dreams and futures. However, the trajectory of life is often unpredictable, and the paths ahead stretched in different directions, uncertain of the people and experiences we would encounter. Perhaps one day in the future, we would meet in an unexpected place, continuing our unfinished story, or maybe we would each find new happiness and fulfillment along our individual journeys. Regardless, I firmly believe that those moments in London will forever reside in my heart, becoming an indelible part of my life. The story remains unfinished, and I eagerly anticipate our future reunion.